As the game opens, we're looking under the eyes of Nick Mendoza. He's a prisoner on a bus, and it's revealed that he used to be a cop. Then we flash back 3 years ago when he was a cop in Miami. We see him in an apartment hallway with his partner, Detective Stoddard. They break into a room full of drug users and attempt to arrest them. However, it gets messy fast, and before long all the drug users are dead except one guy who runs away and crashes his car. The drugs found in the apartment are traced to a drug dealer named Tyson Latchford. Nick's supervisor, Captain Dawes, makes him partners with Kai, who is a detective like Nick. Together, Nick and Kai go visit a junkie named Tap, who knows where Tyson is. He also says that many drug gangs are at war with each other right now. Tap takes Nick and Kai to a building Tyson should be in. To verify that Tyson's actually in the building, Tap wears a wire as he walks into the building. Tap meets Tyson, but as they talk, 2 cars pull up to the building and a drug gang gets out. They start firing on Tyson's men who are guarding the building. Nick intervenes and neutralizes the attackers, but not before Tyson's men die. Nick looks through the building for Tyson and Tap, but Tap is nowhere to be seen, and they meet Tyson through a web chat on a computer they find. Turns out that Tyson was never in the building in the first place. He was talking to Tap through the web chat. Kai then traces the IP on the computer to find Tyson's location. Nick and Kai try to take him into custody, but again a drug gang shows up to kill Tyson. Kai gets shot in the shoulder and almost dies, but the suspects are eliminated, and Kai survives. It takes a while for Kai to heal, but when she does, she and Nick talk to Captain Dawes. Dawes says he received a call from Leo Ray, also known as Stingray. He's involved in the drug world and says he has some information on the drug war, so Dawes sends Nick and Kai to talk to him. Nick and Kai meet Leo in a parking garage, but Leo only wants to talk to Dawes. Kai and Dawes start arguing, but they're interrupted when a drug gang shows up and tries to kill Leo. Leo runs, and Nick runs after him. After a lot of shooting and running amongst Nick, the drug gang, and Leo, Nick finds Leo, who's being beaten by Kai. Nick interrupts and stops Kai. Then more people, presumably drug people, show up and try to kill Leo, but Nick neutralizes them. Nick, Kai, and Leo all climb into the drug gang's truck and drive. Of course, we can't end this without a car chase. After some quote-unquote driving, Nick reaches safety where Captain Dawes is waiting. Leo tells police that drugs are being smuggled into Miami by air packages in the swamp. He also tells them that the operation is being led by Jimmy Nelts. Leo also draws a crude map showing where the drug air packages are. Nick and Kai go find them and put tracking darts on them. After placing the tracking darts and almost getting eaten by an alligator, Nick and Kai find a small shack that shows them a frequency. Kai turns her radio to that frequency and gets location of some signals. Nick and Kai go to these locations and find drug gang hideouts. After some sneaking around, Nick finds evidence suggesting a meeting at a stadium. Nick remembers that there's an old stadium for boat shows in the swamp. Nick and Kai go there and find Rummy Nelts, who's the leader of the entire swamp operation. Nelts starts talking about a deal with Nick's old partner, Stoddard. Nelts gets away on his speedboat, but Nick calls in a chopper which follows Nelts to a building. Stoddard starts planning a tactical assault, but Nick busts in with Kai and sweep through the building. After much gunfire, Nick finds Nelts in his office with a small briefcase of money. Nelts begins to talk about a deal with Stoddard again, but Stoddard busts into the room and kills him. Nick is angry at Stoddard, who proceeds to offer Nick and Kai some of the money in the briefcase before the evidence team arrives. Nick refuses to take the money, but Kai accepts it. Enraged, Nick walks away, knowing that Stoddard is a dirty cop who is going to make a deal with Nelts. Nick also knows that Stoddard killed Nelts to keep him quiet. Later, Nick and Kai are with Captain Dawes in his office. Kai gives Dawes the money Stoddard gave her. Nick realizes that Dawes and Kai were testing him, seeing whether or not he would take the money. Dawes then asks Nick and Kai to go back to the building where Nelts got shot and find evidence against Stoddard. Nick finds an audio record of Nelts talking about a deal with Stoddard. In addition, Nick finds evidence that leads him to an address. On the outside, it seems like a normal warehouse for laundry, but Nick investigates while Kai stays in the car. After sneaking inside, Nick sees Stoddard talking to drug dealers. He talks to them about drug plans. Now there's no doubt that Stoddard's a dirty cop. Nick follows Stoddard to the basement where marijuana is being grown. Meanwhile, Kai calls Nick and tells him she's following a suspicious van. Nick sneaks past the guards and attempts to arrest Stoddard, but just then, Kai calls and asks for backup. Stoddard convinces Nick to let him help Kai. Nick and Stoddard go and help Kai, who's being shot at by a drug gang. Nick and Stoddard neutralize the gang people and find Kai taking cover in a store owned by Nelts, who's obviously dead. Kai says that Nelts may have stored some dirty money in the store. However, instead of looking for the money, they leave due to a really bad storm and to drug people with guns who are coming. After escaping, Nick tries to arrest Stoddard, but Captain Dawes shows up and orders Nick not to arrest him. Nick hands Dawes the audio recorder, saying that they have enough evidence to arrest Stoddard, but Dawes destroys the audio recorder. Kai, Stoddard, and Dawes all turn on Nick and arrest him. Dawes says he planted drug money in Nick's apartment and that police will find it. To make it simple, Nick gets betrayed by Kai, framed by Dawes, and arrested by Stoddard. Then we flash forward 3 years to the prologue. Nick is on a bus which is driving along a remote road. On the prison bus, Nick meets Tap, the junkie who helped Nick find Tyson earlier in the game. Tap warns Nick that the bus is going to have an accident. Just then, Nick sees a car pull up alongside the bus, and the window rolls down. Inside is Tyson Latchford, who produces a sticky explosive and tosses it onto the bus. The explosive detonates, causing the bus to crash. When Nick wakes up, Tap helps him escape from the bus. Tap then produces a key from his pocket and unlocks Nick's handcuffs. Nick is told by Tap to go to the water tower in the distance. Although Nick is hesitant at first, he heads towards the water tower. Nick evades many cops along the way, but eventually he reaches the water tower where Tyson Latchford is waiting. Tyson and Nick begin to talk, but they're interrupted by a search helicopter. Nick's not sure what's going on, but he follows Tyson, and together they make it to a car. To Nick's surprise, Kai gets out. Kai was Nick's old partner who betrayed him. She and Tyson explain that they want to take down Captain Dawes. Although it's vague, Kai tells Nick that Dawes betrayed her. Tyson, on the other hand, was put out of business by Dawes. Kai and Tyson ask Nick to help them take Dawes down, and although he's hesitant at first, Nick agrees. At their little hideout, Kai tells Nick that Dawes has been promoted to police chief. She also tells him about a car dealership which is really just a front for a Korean mafia gang led by Kang. She also says Dawes is involved. When Nick asks about proof of this, Kai tells him she learned it from a man working for the dealership. His name's Boomer and he's an IT guy. Kai says that he has all the proof needed to take Dawes down. Tyson and Nick go to the dealership and sneak around during the night. They find a computer that Kai says will have valuable evidence. Nick plugs in a thumb drive and tries to capture the computer's files. However, this triggers a silent alarm and men show up, looking for Nick. A big gunfight occurs, but Nick escapes with the computer files on the thumb drive. Next, Nick needs to find Boomer to decrypt the files. Kai tells him over the radio that he's at a garage and scrapyard with the mafia guys. Nick goes there, neutralizes the guards, and finds Boomer in the trunk of a car. Boomer says that he attempted to download the files earlier, but he got caught. He says that the files are on his laptop, which is on the other side of a building filled with guards. Nick locks Boomer in the trunk and gets the laptop. When Nick returns, Boomer isn't in the trunk, so Nick gets back in his car with Tyson, who asks about Boomer. Boomer pops up from the back seat where he was hiding. Just then, more bad guys show up and try to kill Nick and Tyson. After a long car chase, Nick, Tyson, and Boomer escape. Boomer tells Nick and Tyson that Dawes takes stolen cars from various locations and ships them by train to Kang's garage and scrapyard, where the cars are taken apart, lined with drugs, and sold at the dealership by Kang and his men. Boomer says that the train unloads right next to Kang's garage and that it's not far from their current location. They head over there and basically kill everyone, including Kang himself. Back at the hideout, Boomer decrypts the computer files and finds an invite sent to Kang for a party in a rich neighborhood in Hollywood. Boomer also points out that many other corrupt men are going to the party as well. Nick and Kai head over to the neighborhood and sneak into the house of the party. They plant a bug and try to get out of the house, but people walk into the house, so Nick and Kai are forced to hide in a closet. They look through the slits in the door and look into the room as men walk in. Among the men who walk in are Stoddard, crime lords, and the owner of the house, Rourke. Stoddard explains to the crime lords that there is a network of cops and patrolmen who are dirty cops. Stoddard tells the crime lords that by paying him, they get access to that network of dirty cops. The crime lords hand over the money and exit the room. Rourke tells Stoddard that he'll store the suitcases of money in his super secure vault. Once Rourke and Stoddard exit the room, Nick and Kai emerge from the closet. Although Nick doesn't like it, Kai goes after Stoddard while Nick goes to plant a phone in the suitcases of money so he can track the money to Rourke's super secure vault. Nick plants the phone in the suitcase and closes it, but a TV in the room turns on and Rourke appears. He talks to Nick, telling him that his men are on the way to kill him. Kai then comes onto the screen, holding a gun to Rourke's head. She knocks him out, but Nick still has to deal with the men sent by Rourke. Nick starts killing them, and Kai shows up to help. She says that she stopped going after Stoddard so she could help Nick. Boomer traces the phone Nick planted and finds that the money is being stored on the top story of a tall corporate building owned by Dawes. The money's in a vault that is very hard to get into. Boomer tells them about an auto-dialer device called the Brute, which can unlock the vault. It's owned by Tony Alpert. He's the leader of a community of people who hate the gun laws and restrictions in the country. They all live out in the desert and they have a ton of guns and weapons. Boomer used to be in love with Tony's daughter, Dune. Nick and Boomer go and meet Dune, who takes them to her father, Tony. Tony, instead of handing over the Brute, captures Nick and Boomer and plans to turn Nick over to Stoddard, who is offering a lot of money for Nick. Nick and Boomer are detained in a room, but they escape from the room and find themselves in some underground tunnels. They find their way out of the tunnels and find themselves on a hill overlooking a village inhabited by Tony's men. Nick sneaks in and steals his gear and sneaks out. Dune shows up in the car and offers them a ride. They head towards the airstrip, but Dune's wearing a GPS tracker on her wrist, which lets Tony find them. Nick is attacked by Tony's men and he crashes the car. There's a big gunfight, and after Nick kills everyone, he heads to the airstrip with Boomer, while Dune cuts off her GPS bracelet and drives away. Nick reaches the airstrip where he finds planes, tanks, and all sorts of stuff. He grabs the Brute and then has a massive fight with Tony and his men. Nick kills everyone, including Tony, and makes his escape in a plane that Boomer finds. Nick, Kai, Tyson, and Boomer are about to go back to Miami and steal Dawes' dirty money when Stoddard kicks down the door with some friends and attempts to kill Nick. Nick kills Stoddard and sends a picture of the body to Dawes. Nick and his friends go to Miami and break into Dawes' skyscraper so they can steal the money. It isn't easy, but they break in, find the vault, and have the Brute start working on the lock to the vault. Men come and try to stop the Brute from opening the vault, but Nick does what he does best, and kills everyone. When the Brute unlocks the vault, Tyson opens it. The vault is booby-trapped, and Tyson gets hit hard by an explosive. He survives, but he's badly injured. Nick enters the vault and finds that the money isn't there. He finds nothing but a ringing phone. Nick answers it and talks to Dawes. Dawes tells Nick that he's at Santa Rosada. Nick hangs up and tries to escape by zipline with Kai and Tyson. Tyson makes it down safely, but Nick runs into some complications. Why don't I let you watch? Yeah. After more killing, Nick and Kai reach the boat where Boomer is waiting with Tyson. Nick drives the boat while Boomer and Kai tend to Tyson. Nick goes to Santa Rosada and exits the boat and says goodbye to Kai, Boomer, and Tyson. Nick stays on the island while the others drive away. It's quite simple. There are a lot of guards across the island guarding Dawes, and Nick kills everyone, like he always does. He breaks into Dawes' office and kills him. Nick then finds a letter addressed to him from Dawes. Dawes tells him about the massive criminal and cop network that he set up over the years and how it will never fall. Dawes' letter tells Nick about a secret passage behind the bookshelf in the room and how to open it. Nick opens it, goes down the tunnel, and goes into the vault he finds. Inside is an insane amount of gold and money. Dawes' letter says, quote, "So congratulations, detective. It's all yours. Now what are you going to do with it?" Then the screen cuts to black and the credits roll. Well, that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed, and please hit the like button, and please tell your friend about me. Please tell a friend, I'm a small channel, and I'm eager to grow, and every person that knows about me is a big difference. Every subscriber, every like means a lot to me. And if you have any suggestions in the comments, just leave a comment, and I will see it, and I will pay attention to it, because no one knows about me. So if you leave a comment, I'll be sure to see it, and I will pay attention to it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.